Hey guys, tonight we're embarking on a desert journey across the vast golden sands of the Sahara. Imagine gold-tipped camels trudging slowly on an endless sea of dunes, the sun peeking timidly through veils of dust. You can almost hear the whispers of the wind carrying a name that resonates through history, Mansa Musa. He was a ruler with wealth so immense you probably won't survive this unless, of course, you manage to take your dreams somewhere as grand as his kingdom. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Let me know your location and local time in the comments below. It's always fascinating to see where you're all tuning in from. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. You feel the warm sand beneath your feet, and as you look out over the serene beauty of the desert, you can't help but marvel at the caravan slowly making its way across the horizon. The camels laden with precious cargo move with a rhythmic grace, their footsteps creating a gentle music as they pad along the dunes. It's a calming scene, yet you sense the weight of the history that surrounds you, a history carried on their backs, destined to leave an indelible mark on the world. As the desert sun casts long shadows across the sand, you notice the glint of gold, a reminder of the wealth that defines Mansa Musa. Imagine, if you will, the riches of his empire, where gold wasn't just a treasure, but a symbol of power and prosperity. Mansa Musa was the emperor of the Mali Empire in the 14th century, a realm so vast it stretched from the Atlantic coast deep into the heart of West Africa, covering parts of what we now call Mauritania, Senegal, and Mali. It's said that Mansa Musa's legendary pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324 was a display of opulence unlike any other. As you walk alongside the caravan in your mind, picture this spectacular journey accompanied by an entourage of thousands and hundreds of camels carrying gold. His generosity was renowned, showering wealth along the way, and even causing a significant economic impact by flooding local economies with so much gold. This was a ruler whose wealth was said to rival that of the richest of today, though historians still debate whether the legendary stories of his riches have been slightly exaggerated for dramatic effect. Now picture yourself centuries ago joining the bustling streets of the Malian capital Niani, where you find a vibrant market brimming with traders from all corners of the known world. You hear a medley of languages punctuating the air: Arabic, Berber, Italian, and more, an indicator of a well-connected empire thriving on commerce. As you navigate the stalls with goods piled high, you wonder at the exotic wares, from salt and spices to ivory and textiles, each item telling a story of its journey to this hub. But not everything about this tale stems from the documented pages of history. As you observe the day-to-day life, a surprising detail catches your eye. You notice an elaborate capstone on a building which local folklore says was crafted by a famed architect from the mysterious lost city of Atlantis. Historians naturally continue to debate such tales, but it's the legend that adds an extra layer of intrigue, much like imagining our camel friend Houdini, which willfully manages to free itself repeatedly, much to the amusement of local onlookers. As dusk approaches, the desert cools and a gentle breeze flits across your face. You settle down with a steaming cup of mint tea, surveying the sprawling cityscape bathed in twilight. It's in these quiet moments of reflection that you understand the legacy of Mansa Musa. His reign wasn't just marked by material wealth, but also by his commitment to education and culture, having built exquisite mosques and institutions. The celebrated Sankore University in Timbuktu, which became a premier center for learning, is part of this lasting legacy, a beacon of knowledge that drew scholars from far and wide. You feel a sense of calm as the stars begin to twinkle overhead, each one whispering the secrets of time gone by. The tales of Mansa Musa, his riches, his kingdom, they linger in the night air waiting for dreamers like you to explore. So let your eyelids grow heavy as you are lulled by the gentle tales of the golden age of Mali and the soft sway of the camel's stride, imagining yourself drifting along the timeless sands of the Sahara. The rhythm of distant drums drifts through the air, a sound that accompanies evenings by the great Niger River. As the sun sets over the horizon, its orange glow mirrors in the gentle current of the river, casting shadows across the expansive palace where you find yourself. Living here feels like being in the heart of history, surrounded by stories sung by griots, the storytellers who pass down the legacies of the past with each beat of their drums. You are Musa, growing up within these palace walls, the world outside, colored by the golden hues of ancient traditions and the whispers of a land rich in culture. Each day you tread the smooth, cold stones of the palace corridors, a space where history feels tangible like the air you breathe. But this is no ordinary palace. Here, stories are not just told, they are lived. The griots weave their tales of the great Mali Empire, and you drink in the knowledge as if it were your future, just like everyone else in this thriving kingdom. The air is thick with the scent of lush greenery and distant fires, and the voices of the griots intermingle with the rustling of palm leaves in the evening breeze. Ah, young Musa, the griots often say, one day you will be the keeper of these stories, the ruler of this land. You listen eagerly, for you know that these stories are your inheritance. Among the stories they sing of your ancestor, the great Sundiata Keita, the founder of the Mali Empire. With a gleam in their eyes, the griots recount how Sundiata was prophesied to be a great king even before his birth. Yet historians still debate whether it was the prophecy alone that shaped his destiny, or the struggles he overcame from his lameness as a child to his victories in battle that solidified his role as a legendary ruler. His courage and wisdom are the bedrock upon which your education is built. In the shadow of these tales, your days are filled with learning. Not just the stories of your people, but also the philosophies that guide them. Here in the palace, tutors teach you Arabic alongside the Manding language and introduce you to the scholarly works from across the Muslim world. It's a world where the written word is revered and manuscripts from faraway lands are treasured like gold. Yet it is not all studies and solemn wisdom. There is joy, and yes, a bit of playful rebellion too. You once tried to hide from your lessons by pretending to be a part of a tapestry, a tactic that only partially succeeded, much to your tutor's exasperation. But these moments of levity are as essential as any lecture, teaching you the balance between duty and delight. Despite the structured environment of the palace, the world beyond its walls calls to you a vast land dotted with bustling markets, where merchants barter in the shadow of towering mosques. It's a place alive with the clang of artisans' hammers and the vibrant chatter of traders speaking in a tapestry of tongues. The scent of spices mingles with the sweat of labor and life. One surprising tale that fascinates you the most is of a wise merchant who once used slabs of salt as helpfully heavy currency, too heavy to pilfer, easily making them an unusual yet practical form of coinage in the trade networks that crisscross this part of Africa. Your evenings are calm and serene. As the day's heat subsides, shadows stretch their cool fingers across the palace grounds, and you gather with others in the courtyard. Here, the sky turns a deep indigo, and stars twinkle as if whispering secrets of ancient times. Amidst this peaceful setting, meals are shared, each dish a melody of flavors, from the spicy jollof rice to sweet desserts perfumed with honey and dates. You realize that learning about leadership and faith is not simply a lesson in gaining knowledge. It is an understanding of your people's deepest hopes and dreams. The stories you hear tonight are not just tales of kings and battles. They are the collective memory of a people who have thrived by the river, nourished by its ever-flowing life. As the nights pass, you find yourself dreaming vividly. In one dream, you see a great city made of gold. Historians like to say, it might be just a story woven larger than life by the griots. But here, under the glitter of the night sky, anything seems possible. These dreams inspire you, reminding you that your journey is just as much about imagining what could be as it is about understanding what was. Here on the edge of the river, the world opens before you, expansive and full of possibility. Every lesson and every moment of laughter plants a seed in the fertile soil of your future. With each story, a new part of the world blooms, vivid and full of life. And as the drums beat on their echoes, remind you of your connection to something far greater, to a past that sings and a future that listens. As the night deepens and the stories lull you into rest, you sense the winding of a river and the flow of time itself gently guiding you on your path. And you know that with the coming dawn, the story will continue, a tapestry of light and sound woven through the heart of the empire. Far from the hustle and bustle of modern life, you find yourself transported back to the lands of West Africa. The air feels thick with possibilities, as though history itself lingers just beyond the edges of your consciousness, inviting you to explore. In the rich expanse of Mali, you see wealth in its most elemental forms, salt glittering gold, and the ever-moving rivers that thread through the landscape like life-giving veins. These resources crisscross through cities like Niani and Timbuktu, their lifeblood fueling an economy that thrived long before the famous Mansa Musa took the throne. You wander into the city of Niani, where the sounds of bustling markets greet you with a chorus of vibrant exchanges. You're surrounded by the hum of traders, bargaining over precious goods, each item representing an intricate network of lands and people far beyond the horizon. You notice with some surprise a hint of laughter that rises above the market sounds, a light, playful chatter as two merchants jokingly argue over the price of shell necklaces, their smiles suggesting a time-hewn camaraderie. Perhaps trading was as much about relationships as it was about currency. Historians still debate whether salt or gold was the more valuable commodity. One could never truly measure the depth of necessity both held over the ancient world. Gold's allure was undeniable. Adorning the rich and powerful, it was lustrous, an eternal whispering promises of wealth and power. Salt, in its unassuming white purity, was equally essential. It preserved food and enhanced its taste, a quiet staple, yet fundamentally tied to life itself. As you walk further, the landscape changes. More distant now, you hear the gentle rush of a wide river, its waters a calm, continuous journey to lands unknown. The waters of the Niger River whisper tales of faraway places, a natural highway for trade and travel. Boats dot its surface, moving ceaselessly, filled with goods and eager travelers. You sense the energy of people coming and going, their paths crossing briefly, before branching off again, leading somewhere new. Your adventure takes you to Timbuktu, a city whose name alone conjures mystery and wonder. Here, every corner of the city seems steeped in knowledge. Manuscripts tell of distant lands, and you pause to watch as scholars discuss ideas with fervent excitement, their robes gathering dust and wisdom alike. The city pulses quietly, a beacon of learning in a world where spoken stories and written word are the vessels of civilization's memory. Amidst the clay walls and sandy streets, wisdom lies not just in grand libraries, but in whispered stories shared under the shade of baobab trees. Children gather to listen to their elders' eyes wide as tales of ancient kings and mythical creatures unfold like a tapestry of dreams. One particularly unusual detail catches your ear, a story about a legendary griot who, instead of singing by night, would recite his epics, accompanied by the rhythmic clicks of river stones. His story flickers like firelight in your mind, evidence of the uniqueness in every culture waiting to be discovered. Time seems to flow differently here. Days stretch out languidly, and yet they pulse with the energy of human endeavor, trade, education, the quiet shaping of history by hands just like yours. You can't help but feel a sense of participation, even as a passive observer in the grand tapestry woven over decades. It is a moment to reflect how much of this world will change with the passing of rulers, the ebb and flow of economic tides. Whether gold or salt held the most sway is a topic still open to interpretation. The answer, perhaps elusive like the wisps of smoke that linger in the evening air. As you wander through these ancient cities, their beauty timeless and their lessons vast, you feel the weight of history settling upon your shoulders, not as a burden, but as a comforting cloak. It's time to allow this cloak to envelop you warm and inviting as you close your eyes. Let the bustling markets and quiet libraries fade into a soft memory, wrapped in the lull of West Africa's ancient, thriving heart. As you find yourself surrounded by the gentle ambiance of dusk, imagine the vast expanse of the great Sahara Desert stretching out into the horizon. The golden sand rolls like an endless sea, whispering secrets from times long past. Amidst this vastness, you feel a sense of wonder and awe. You are about to embark on a journey through time, tracing the extraordinary path of Musa, who rose to power in a most intriguing manner. The kingdom you find yourself in is bustling, filled with the rhythmic sounds of everyday life and the vibrant palette of a thriving civilization. This is the Mali Empire, renowned for its wealth culture and influence in West Africa. But the story here centers on an unexpected twist of fate that places Musa on the throne. The previous ruler, Abu Bakr II, was a man of ambition and curiosity. Historians still debate whether his urge was driven by exploration or conquest, but it is known that he set out on a mysterious voyage across the Atlantic Ocean. He gathered an enormous fleet preparing to discover lands beyond the confines of the known world. Yet he and his expedition vanished without a trace in the vast blue unknown, leaving behind a void in the kingdom's leadership. And so Musa's tale begins not as the king, but as the man appointed to look after the throne in the king's absence. At this moment, you feel the weight of destiny and duty resting on your shoulders, your heart echoing with a mix of anticipation and trepidation. This temporary stewardship becomes the linchpin upon which your fate and that of your people hinges. You are Musa, known later as Mansa Musa, and you have ascended to power not through conquest, but through circumstance. As the days turn into months, your grip on the throne does not waver. Your governance becomes known not only for its stability, but also for the enhancements you bring to Mali's already flourishing state. Trade routes blossom under your watchful eye, their veins pulsing with gold and salt, the lifeblood of the empire's prosperity. An unusual detail piques the curiosity of those who speak of your rise legends say that Abu Bakr II's fateful voyage was inspired by a fantastical dream one where he envisioned kingdoms of shimmering gold and endless riches across the sea. Whether such tales are mere folklore or a glimpse into the late king's mind remains a topic historians muse over in their dusty archives. For you, however, this legacy of mystery only deepens the air of prophecy that colors your reign. Your presence in the empire grows like the mighty Niger River, an undeniable force that nourishes the land. Yet with power comes intrigue and whispers of your uncle's voyage haunting the court corridors. These tales, spun on the winds of the desert, serve as a reminder that kingship is as much about managing perception as it is about governance. In your hands, Mali continues to soar to unprecedented heights, with its people cherishing the stability you bring. Scholars from every corner of the African continent find their way to your court, contributing to a golden age of knowledge and cultural exchange. Your capital, Timbuktu, buzzes with these intellectual endeavors, becoming a beacon of learning as radiant as the sun-kissed sand dunes. Yet tonight, as you dwell on the past and the path unfurled before you, you wonder whether the king who set out into the unknown ever found what he was searching for. A parchment or two might suggest he did, landing on strange coasts with kinder weather, though whether such accounts hold truth is yours to ponder as your head rests on the pillow. In your rise to power, you've not grabbed for it with violence or scheming. Instead, it almost seems as if destiny has woven you into the narrative of Mali with threads of fortune. Staring at the starlit sky, you can't help but feel the pull of the unknown, the same unknown that once called Abu Bakr away. As you settle into your thoughts, the calming breeze of the desert night brushes against your face. You let your mind wander like the exploratory king who vanished those many years ago, grateful for the steady ground under your rule. Shut your eyes and breathe deep. Someday, perhaps you'll sail into your dreams guided by the stars and the wisdom gained from holding the empire's reins. Until then, the Mali Empire rests secure under your gentle leadership, as the sands of time carry whispers of legends, both told and untold. Imagine yourself beneath the gentle embrace of sun-kissed hills where the earth holds secrets whispered by time itself. You walk along the dusty trails of Bambouk and Bouré, where beneath your very feet, rivers of gold lay hidden, waiting for the right hands to coax them to the surface. The sun sets in the sky like a painter's brushstroke, casting warm hues over the land, silhouetting traders from the distant north approach. These traders are like shadows, moving silently under a canopy of starlight, exchanging glances rather than words. Salt and cloth traded with the same tacit understanding that birds follow in their long migrations across the sky. It's a world woven with silence where transactions are carried out through gestures as ancient as the land itself. You hear the distant call of a griot, a storyteller whose voice dances in the air like the gentle rustle of leaves. He speaks of times past when kingdoms rose and fell on the wealth of these gleaming rivers. The gold here is not just a metal, but a thread in the fabric of empires. You think to yourself how historically this abundance has driven many on perilous journeys, and you realize you probably won't survive a treacherous expedition like that in reality. The thought evokes a smile. There's comfort in just imagining safely tucked away in the warm embrace of your room. Historians often wonder whether the silence in these trades was a matter of practicality or ritual. After all, in a land where precious metal flows beneath words become little more than distractions. It's curious to think how alliances might have been forged and broken with nothing but a nod and the passing of goods. An unusual silence indeed, where each item carries untold stories of its own. Darkness begins to wrap itself around you gently, like a quilt spun from the tales of centuries past. As traders disappear into the night, the hills echo memories of the lives etched into their earth. You sense the pulse of history beneath your feet, a rhythmic heartbeat that speaks of the lives lived and the gold once held in countless hands. The air is quiet now, save for the distant cry of night birds soaring unseen above you. With each moment, the world between wakefulness and dream draws closer, and you find solace in this woven tapestry of silent stories. You pass through the corridors of history into a world where Musa rules. There is no need for his voice to echo off the ornate walls of his palace. His commands are a gentle breeze that carries as much authority as any mighty shout. You weave through his realm, where even the courtyards breathe serenity, cooled by the meticulous placement of water jars that catch the sun's warmth and transform it into a softer shade. Such is the haven Musa has created, an empire of whispers and soft smiles. Your mind drifts back to what you remember about Musa. It's the 14th century, and you stand in the heart of the Mali Empire, a land that boasts quiet strength, much like its ruler. He governs without raising his voice, yet none dare question his wisdom. This is a place where learning intertwines with governance, and the air is thick with the scent of papyrus, the fertile ground for knowledge and advice. His advisors gather around a circle of wisdom and reflection. They speak in earnest cadences, their words weaving together the Quran and the age-old proverbs, crafting a tapestry of guidance. You might wonder how it's possible for such diverse kinds of wisdom to coexist seamlessly, and yet here it is, a delicate balance of sacred text and worldly counsel. You find yourself pondering on this as you watch the advisors, each of them contributing strands to Musa's quilt of governance. Under Musa's gentle command, you see countless scholars trek across the sands to be part of this grand tale of enlightenment. You recall the storied city of Timbuktu, not just a place, but a beacon, a Mecca of learning where sketched maps of stars rival inscriptions of earth, and where you can easily get lost in the endless scrolls and texts, each waiting to divulge secrets of a sagacious past. Historical whispers suggest that gold flowed through Musa's land like a steady river, enriching the Mali Empire beyond imagination. Yet gold is not what Musa relies on to bind his kingdom together. His true treasures are his people and the flourishing culture that dances all around you. Historians still debate whether his famed pilgrimage to Mecca was a display of wealth or a genuine act of devotion. What is certain, however, is the imprint it left on both him and those who witnessed it, a procession so grand that tales of his generosity spread across continents. In the courtyard, you observe Musa's gentle demeanor mirrored in his interactions with those around him. He listens more than he speaks, a trait that draws respect like a magnet. Here decisions are made with a nod and a keen eye pointing sharply to what matters most: unity, prosperity, and preservation of culture. Eyes are attentive, ears open, as if the garden itself leans in to catch his every word. An unusual fact dances into your curiosity. The courtyard's cooled by clay water. Jars are also savored for their acoustic marvel. With each carefully measured step, your footfall offers a quiet applause that reverberates softly, a gentle reminder of how even the artificial blends with nature under Musa's thoughtful touch. It's as if you step through time itself, traversing the boundaries between present recollections and past happenings each moment, a testament to the kind of leadership rarely captured in tales of conquest and might. Instead, you're wrapped in a story of humility, subtle command, and the quiet, profound changes that ripple through time. In this cozy enclave of history, your mind and heart find a soothing rhythm. With quiet conviction and unspoken understanding, you feel yourself becoming a part of something greater, a narrative that moves gently over the ages, carried forward by rulers like Musa, who know that power does not always require volume, just as respect cannot be forged by force. Rest easy in the knowledge that even in times long past, Leadership could be something gentle, something that doesn't shout, but simply is a presence, a guide, a quiet symphony of history unfolding. Every Muslim ruler dreamed of Mecca, but Musa planned more than a journey. He would bring the desert to its knees in astonishment. As you stand on the golden sands of Africa, the warm sun kissing your skin, you can almost feel the pulse of history beneath your feet. Your journey is set, the illustrious pilgrimage to Mecca, a dream nurtured by every ruler with faith and grandeur. But you're not just any ruler. You are Mansa Musa, the mighty king of Mali. Your resolve is unyielding, your aspirations larger than life itself. This isn't merely a journey. It's a statement. You are set to dazzle the world. A soft breeze carries tales of your eminent preparations, spreading through towns and villages like ripples in a vast ocean. It's said historians still debate the exact size of your retinue, with some estimates proposing a staggering 60,000 people. Can you imagine the spectacle? An endless caravan, camels, laden with gold servants, soldiers, scholars, and more followers than you'd think possible. It's going to be a sight so magnificent, it will be etched into the annals of history. Your grand procession will thread its way through the Saharan sands, a ribbon of life, winding ceaselessly across a harsh, unyielding desert. You plan not just to arrive at Mecca, but to inundate it with awe. But you probably won't survive this. You chuckle to yourself. Well, unless every piece of your grand design falls flawlessly into place. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Let your thoughts wander over the sands of time, picturing the spectacle unfolding under the same stars. You run a hand over the map sprawled before you, tracing the routes the ancients traveled. Timbuktu whispers its secrets to you, its markets bustling with activity. Scholars, poets, merchants, all weave their dreams of riches and renown. It's here at the zenith of trade and learning that you gather strength for your epic journey. The city, alive with knowledge and culture, stands emblematic of your kingdom's wealth and influence, a fitting reflection of your own ambitions. Historians often marvel at the tales of your wealth. It's said that the gold you carried was so abundant that it caused a 10-year economic downturn in Egypt. Was it truly so impactful? Or is it just another embellishment in the tapestry of your legend? Such uncertainties color the backdrop of your narrative like shadows cast by flickering candlelight. Back in your camp, preparations buzz around you. They coat wood with tar, strengthen the tents, and weave baskets to hold the provisions for your grand adventure. Amongst your entourage, there are whispers of a particular spectacle, gems and spices falling like rain from your hands. It's not just about reaching Mecca. It's about enchanting everyone you meet along the way. You glance across your gathering of scholars, an assemblage of profound thinkers ready to accompany you. Each is a vessel of wisdom, ripe with insights and avenues for discovery. You've always believed that no journey, no matter how grand, is complete without the enlightenment that only books and knowledge can provide. This profound respect for education marks your reign, setting your kingdom on a course towards uncharted horizons. Yet as your story builds and your train grows, a question flits across your mind. How will you manage to guide them all? The logistics stagger the imagination, but this thought quickly transforms into resolve, one that propels you forward. You delve into organization with unmatched fervor, ensuring that every resource and every person is accounted for. Your leadership holds everything together, the heart that beats with unyielding strength. Your journey will cast a long shadow, just like the camel's silhouette, stretching across the endless sands of the Sahara. This will not just be a mere pilgrimage or a display of opulence. It will be a masterstroke of diplomacy as well. Along the way, you'll forge ties, unite people through stories and cultural exchanges. The fabric of civilization will be intricately woven by your passage, leaving an indelible mark on futures yet to unfold. As you prepare to set out, the anticipation and excitement mount, like the crescendo of a symphony. This journey, more than anything, stands as a testament to your indomitable spirit and your unwavering belief in the awe-inspiring possibilities that lie in wait. Within the echoes of history, your procession promises to leave a warm golden glow, a luminescence that will guide countless others in the labyrinth of time. With every step forward beneath the ceaseless expanse of the heavens, your dream begins, not just a journey to Mecca, but a serenade to the world. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. He gathered 60,000 men, hundreds of camels, thousands of pounds of gold dust, even cooks and poets. The most lavish caravan the desert had ever seen. It was a scorching morning as you found yourself in a bustling encampment where the desert sands stretched endlessly beyond the horizon. Around you there is a lively mix of voices and sounds, the delicate tinkling of harnesses, as camels swayed languidly, the rhythmic chant of laborers stacking provisions, and the spirited laughter of storytellers practicing their art. You breathe in deeply, the air tinged with the spice of exotic foods simmering on fires, a subtle allure woven into the air by the craft of many hands in the promise of a grand journey. Your skin tingles with anticipation, as does everyone else's. After all, you're part of the retinue of Mansa Musa, the richest person who ever lived, embarking on a pilgrimage to Mecca, a journey whose opulence would stir wonder in the hearts of all who heard of it. You remind yourself even the smallest role in such a grand undertaking ensures a story you'll be recounting for ages. As the heat rises and the mirage-like waves of warmth begin to dance across the desert, you notice the colossal herd of camels, each adorned with intricately woven rugs and golden trimmings, waiting patiently to be loaded with provisions and treasures. Amidst this organized chaos, it almost amuses you to think that such a lavish display of wealth could have its origins in the dusty grain sacks and humble beginnings familiar to your earliest memories back home. Historians still debate whether the sheer scale of Mansa Musa's caravan was truly necessary or a display of strategic intent. But the fact remains, His pilgrimage would leave a golden dust trail through the cities and towns, one that resonated in history's annals. The whispering winds of the desert tell tales of gold dust as fine as the sand slipping through your fingers, being weighed and measured with precision, destined for the caravan's passage. Despite the elegance of it all, you can't shake off a flicker of doubt. Sands are unpredictable after all, and you probably won't survive this without a mountain of luck. Amongst the grandeur, however, surprising discoveries await. You chuckle noticing the poets preparing their verses and the cooks amid their furious yet focused rhythm, each slice and stir akin to a musician's practice note, as if any tale or feast could match the splendor of these dunes, shifting under a blinding sun. Scholars and priests, engrossed in thought, walk purposefully, reconnecting with faith, forging knowledge and understanding to bring enlightenment into this journey. Yet beside all this confidence and wealth, it is the whispers that intrigue. Some say Mansa Musa once met with creatures of myth who prepared him for this journey with dark omens and mysterious charms. Of course, it could merely be the musings of a poet's ambitious imagination, yet the thrill of the unknown sends a shiver down your spine. As the day closes in and shadows stretch long, the camp settles with an almost imperceptible hum as the sun dips below the horizon. Tomorrow the caravan will set out, and the adventure will truly begin. Flames flicker to life in circles, where laughter and stories flit like moths to a flame. Herein lies the magic of such moments. The anticipation crafts a tapestry where imagination weaves its threads through the fabric of time. But for now, you lay back under the blanket of stars, eyes tracing constellations above, cradled by the ever-soft dunes. The cool night air is a stark contrast to the day's heat, your mind gently meandering through the possibilities tomorrow may hold. Could it be true that ancient relics as old as human dreams themselves lay buried beneath these very sands? You question the wisdom of forgotten tales that once sent shivers down your childhood spine. Amidst the hum of insects and the soft rustle of tents, your eyelids grow heavy. You tuck away the sounds and stories, the enigmas and intrigues for another night. The steady rhythm of your heartbeat aligns with the breathing desert, each breath deeper, slower, and entirely filled with the peace of the present. Here in the heart of this once-in-a-lifetime journey's beginning, under an impenetrable tapestry of stars, you relinquish your weariness, melted into the golden horizon to come. Calm and clarity take shape as you drift into rest, enveloped by the soft whispers of the world, far beyond the oasis of dreams. Walking through the dunes feels like moving in a dreamscape where the earth's contours ripple underfoot, whispering echoes of ancient journeys. The night sky unfurls above you, its velvet canvas pricked with stars, burning so brightly they seem to sing their cool, distant hum, a soothing balm to the spirit. By day, the sun pours its unrelenting heat upon the world, and the sand reshapes itself under your steps, blistering and alive, as if carrying the sun's very breath within each grain. As the sun surrenders to the horizon, a comforting routine takes its place within the caravan. It is at dusk that Musa, the leader, gathers everyone together, a practice of prayer and unity that etches serenity into the desert's fierce frame. You admire his steadfast spirit, a simple, calming presence amid the shifting winds of the journey. Each evening, his quiet devotion transforms the transient camp into a sanctuary of whispered hopes and shared dreams. Musa's journey is not just one of survival across the unforgiving dunes, but a quest steeped in tradition and commerce. You find yourself drawn in step by step into this ancient rhythm of trade and travel, the same paths once trodden by countless before, yet feeling uniquely your own. Among the caravan's stories are shared as easily as bread threads that bind you to history and to each other. Historical records tell of these caravans and their role in connecting worlds, bringing silk, spices, and news between realms. It is said, though some scholars still debate, whether the dunes themselves hold the whispers of every conversation trod into their sands. You imagine the grains imbued with secrets, each breeze a messenger carrying tales to far-off lands. An unexpected chill rushes through the camp as you ponder this, a reminder of the desert's dual nature, both punishing and protective. These dunes, vast and unyielding, protect sands of time and memory, shifting but eternal. Musa's voice, steady and calming, breaks the spell of your thoughts, calling you back to the familiar cadence of evening prayer. You decide to learn more from Musa, who seems to navigate this world with the wisdom of those long-gone traders. You once overheard him talking about the uses of camel milk, how it could sustain life far beyond what would seem possible in such an environment. Another testament to the resilience of life here, a place both modern and ancient, a paradox you feel but cannot fully understand. Historians often cherish the tales of lost caravans that succumbed to the desert's severity, stories buried deep beneath shifting layers of sand. Yet an unusual artifact Musa shows one night, a simple yet uncharacteristically ornate clay seal, unravels a tale none had known. It suggests connections further afield than the usual Saharan suspects, leading to questions of far-reaching alliances and tales of a time when the world was very much interconnected, albeit in shades of sepia. As the days slide into nights, each more luminously haunting than the last, your path through the dunes becomes a tapestry, woven with Musa's knowledge, the stars' serenade, and the persistent grit of the desert winds. Tales of grand cities, Timbuktu or Gao, lie ahead, whispering promises of civilization's warmth against the desert's isolated fever. Your journey is not merely physical, but a passage through layers of culture and time, a pilgrimage that reconnects you to the essence of those who journeyed before. You learn to read the subtle language of the sand, to trust the songs of the stars, and to walk alongside history itself, stitched through with the stories of those left untold. Amidst this expanse, you are both lost and found in equal measure. You are part of something larger than any single journey, linked forever with the caravan's purpose and the infinite desert beyond. As the night unfurls, so too does the calm a blanket soft as the sand you rest upon, inviting you to dream under the watchful gaze of the night's celestial chorus. The dark, cooled earth, a refuge from the day's fiery trial. With the gentle murmuring of Musa's final prayers, the rhythmic echoes of camels settling down, and the starlit sky casting its tender glow, You feel a deep-seated peace envelop you, a harmonious blend of solitude and belonging history. And now, as your eyes close, you drift into dreams shaped by the quiet power of the desert, the melodic hum of the stars guiding you, ensuring that in this world of endless sand and sky, you need only follow the sounds of the universe to find your way home. As you continue into the bustling, sunlit streets of Cairo, you find yourself amidst the smell of spices and the vibrant colors of this ancient city. It's as if every corner hides a treasure waiting to surprise you. You can almost hear the hum of activity blending with the call to prayer. This is where you meet Mansa Musa, the wealthiest man in history, whose presence radiates like the sun around you. Musa travels with a caravan so grand, it stretches as far as the eye can see. His retinue includes thousands of servants, soldiers, and colorful banners flapping against the sky. What captures everyone's attention, however, is the sheer amount of gold carried by his entourage. With every step, the gleam of this precious metal catches flickers of sunlight, drawing gasps from the crowd. Now imagine the face of the Sultan of Cairo as Musa deftly presents gift after splendid gift of pure gold. It's said that centuries later, historians would still discuss whether Musa intended to dazzle or simply regularly displayed his wealth. For each golden coin handed out, the astonishment in the streets doubled. Mothers whispered the tales to their children, and merchants squabbled in awe and envy. You wonder, Musa ponders aloud, turning to you amid the hubbub, his eyes twinkling with mischief. Could wealth like this become a problem? As if to illustrate his thought, you learn that Musa's generosity had an unexpected and enduring impact. By liberating so much gold into the local economy, he caused an economic ripple that saw the price of gold plummet, a currency collapse felt for more than 10 years. You're led to consider how something so universally valued could become, even temporarily, a burden. Yet Musa, walking through Cairo's streets with you, seems unfazed by such consequences. His goal isn't about predicting the market's fluctuations, but applying the weight of his wealth to the greater good, seeking knowledge and forging connections. Drawing from his inexhaustible gold, he funds mosques and seminaries, securing his legacy as one who values learning above mere currency. As the sun dips lower, casting a warm golden hue over the city, you stroll beside Musa, gathering wisdom like the grains of sand at your feet. The Sultan, though initially stunned, begins to engage in animated discussions, with Musa equally fascinated by the tales of Timbuktu's libraries and the mighty Mali Empire, as he is by the glittering gifts. The air of Cairo continues to buzz with stories of Musa's time there, spreading far and wide. It's said that his generosity extended beyond the mere distribution of gold. The influence of his visit reshaped perceptions and fortified trade routes. Stories of Musa begin to intertwine with the myths of ancient wonders, the whispers of his visit never truly fading from the memory of those who saw it. As the evening unfolds, you feel the city slowly exhale its energy, retreating into the dreams of those who slumber. You sense a peace curling around you, whispering like a soft lullaby, encouraging you to find rest in the embrace of a world where stories like this can paint the night. You find yourself in a distant land where the sun kisses the horizon with a golden glow. As the shadows stretch across the desert sands, you embark on a journey with a man whose footprints are etched in history. His name is Musa, and unlike the rulers of his time, Musa doesn't seek to impress with the glint of jewels or the clatter of soldiers' boots. Instead, his presence is marked by a profound sense of humility and devotion. The story unfolds as Musa steps onto holy ground, and the first thing you notice is that his feet are bare. There's something about the way he stands steadily, yet reverently. An aura of piety envelops him, silencing any whisper of arrogance. Local scholars known for their scholarly debates watch as he kneels to pray. It is said that Musa's prayers could mend a broken heart, and you can almost feel the calm washing over him like a soothing tide. Now imagine Musa's caravan halting in a bustling town. Merchants haggle over the prices of silks and spices as children dart through the throngs. Without fanfare, Musa approaches the town's gathering place. The scholars recognize him not just for his reputation, but for his genuine interest in their discussions. He engages with them not as a conqueror, but as a peer seeking knowledge. Historians still debate whether these discussions influenced his rule, but the respect was mutual, a dance of words and wit under the canopy of desert stars. Musa's journey wasn't just a pilgrimage, it was a mission of generosity. As evening cloaks the town, you walk alongside Musa to a piece of land donated by a grateful villager. With the grace of someone planting seeds for future generations, Musa declares his intention to build a mosque. Not just anywhere, but here, where the faithful could gather, pray, and find peace. You feel a twinge of surprise as Musa hands over a considerable sum to the local builders. Surprisingly, his wealth was not bound to palaces. It roamed freely, funding foundations for mosques wherever his journey took him. The townspeople, their faces lit with hope, start to draw plans under the gentle guidance of the stars. As the weeks pass in a seamless rhythm, bricks are laid and the call to prayer eventually echoes across the rooftops. The mosque stands tall among date palms, swaying in sync with the chants inside. A place of worship, yes, but also a testament to Musa's faith and his unwavering belief in sharing his blessings with the world. It's in these moments you imagine that the true weight of leadership rests not on thrones, but in simple acts of kindness and understanding. There are stories almost too fantastical to believe of how Musa's generosity ended up shaping the economies of the places he visited. It's said that in his travels, the gold he spent managed to depreciate its own value due to sheer abundance. True or exaggerated, it's a narrative that makes you chuckle as you picture a world teetering under the weight of its newfound wealth, like the time a local fishmonger priced his catch in gold due to Musa's influence. Reflecting on this, you can't help but ponder the magnificent ambiguity surrounding his legacy. Yet it's this very uncertainty that makes his story resonate through time, transforming history into a tapestry woven with rich threads of fact and legend. The night grows deeper, and as you walk beside Musa, you realize his story is more than just a series of events. It's a journey that whispers to the past, illuminates the present, and leaves behind a footprint on the soul. With each step, the tales of his piety, his barefoot prayers, and the edifices of faith he left behind bend around you like the warm embrace of a bedtime story, drawing you further into its gentle folds. With each step you took, the sun cast long shadows across the vast desert sands. The soft hum of travelers' conversation melted away, leaving only the rhythm of your heartbeat and the whisper of history around you. Musa's journey to the holy city had been a long one, stretching across miles and paths made by countless pilgrims before and after him. Finally, the city stood ahead, a testament to centuries of faith and purpose. Entering these sacred grounds, you couldn't help but feel the weight of their significance. It was a place where history lived in every stone, where legends were born and destinies shaped. It is said that in this city the air itself is lighter and buzzing with energy from all those who have made their way here, both ordinary and extraordinary. Musa set foot into the city and was embraced not just by the people, but by the spirit of the journey fulfilled. Historians still debate whether Musa's generosity manifested in extraordinary gifts of gold and wealth actually destabilized local economies, or simply added to his legend. Yet here, under the exotic canopy of the city, those questions faded into the background, like the evening call to prayer. In the holy city, every corner seemed alive with color and movement. You'd find merchants selling spices and textiles with vigor, their voices a symphony of life. Imagine the bright reds, yellows, and blues swirling around Musa, who walked with a serene presence, a gentle smile playing on his lips. It's said that Musa's wealth alone could have filled the streets with gold. Tales of his generosity are still whispered in awe. Despite its expanse, there were intimate corners in the city where time seemed to slow, such as the gardens and courtyards, where fountains murmured secrets to themselves. You wonder if in these moments Musa found time to reflect, perhaps under the shade of date palms whispering above. Amidst his grandeur, it's a small detail that remains incredibly charming. Musa allegedly found pleasure in these quiet, private retreats. Upon fulfilling the pilgrimage, Musa's transformation was written in the lines of his face and the relaxed ease of his movements. He had come with a purpose beyond just the bounty he carried. To be in the holy city was both a duty and an act of gratitude, a place to leave behind earthly distractions and connect with something larger. The legacy he would leave behind was not just material, but a spiritual resonance carried within him to be shared upon his return. With a final lingering look at the city's skyline, Musa prepared to depart, knowing he had left an indelible mark in a place already thick with history. Just as sands shift in the wind, so too had this journey altered something within him, something perceptible only upon his return to his homeland. As he began his journey back, tales of his generosity had already started spreading across lands. But Musa's transformation was subtler, more profound, a quiet ripple rather than a grand splash. Leaving the city behind, Musa carried with him not just memories, but the essence of a journey completed. There was a serenity in him now, a quiet confidence that comes from fulfilling an ancient obligation and offering something to others without expectation of return. The scholars often speculate about whether Musa's expansive gift-giving was born of genuine generosity or a strategic move to bolster his reputation, something only he truly understood. Traveling back through the winding routes and whispering winds, Musa was accompanied by stories. They were carried on the wind and by every traveler he encountered. You see yourself alongside him, part of this epic return, fraught with the low hum of adventure becoming memory. As the miles dwindled, the challenges of the road growing familiar, Musa returned not as he had left. The pilgrimage had etched itself into his being, a silent witness to his journey of personal transformation. The sand dunes, once towering, now looked like intimate companions, having watched over the path. He had tread icy starlight, guiding his way by night, and a ceaseless sun by day. Back home, Musa was greeted not just with applause for his wealth, but revered for the steps he had taken, both outward and inward. Among his people, his tale was woven with others, his story becoming legend, a thread in the rich tapestry of history that would stretch beyond his time. You see, the true treasures of his pilgrimage were the invisible ones, wisdom gained, fears laid to rest, and the transformation of spirit. As you lay there, these stories of ancient journeys and returns envelope you, inviting sleep to gently take over. Feel the serene calmness of a fulfilling journey, akin to Musa's, settling over you. Allow each breath you take in and release mirror the soft ebb and flow of far-off sands shifting under a starry sky. The light of the holy city, now a gentle glow in your imagination, promises warmth and peace. It beckons to the weary traveler in you, gesturing to rest beneath its welcoming protection. You drift towards sleep, carrying the story of transformation, along with you, deepening your understanding of what it means to return. Let the sound of heartbeats and gentle murmurs echo around you. Embark on your own nightly pilgrimage, one of dreams and peaceful slumber, where you're always welcomed back, transformed in ways visible only by the light of a new dawn. Now, sleep tender traveler, where night's quiet embrace meets your thoughts gently. Immerse in the tranquility that cradles the stories of the past, soothingly guiding you towards restful dreams. Serene waves ripple softly across your consciousness, like kindly whispers from long ago, lulling you into deep, peaceful rest. His journey was long and arduous through lands that shimmered under the relentless sun. You find yourself stepping into the sandals of someone from another time, following in the footsteps of a fabled figure named Musa. He was not just a man. He was Mansa, Musa, one of the wealthiest individuals to have ever walked the earth. As you tread the sands beneath your feet, the echoes of history whisper stories of his grandeur and generosity. The winds once carried the tales of his caravan, stretching as far as the eye could see, laden with gold and treasures that gleamed with an almost mythical allure. But it wasn't just wealth that Musa gathered during his journeys. Indeed, he brought with him architects who could envision the impossible, artists who painted dreams onto the desert canvas, and scholars whose minds were libraries of wisdom. You pause, imagining the sight of this caravan as it wove through the desert, leaving a trail of wonderment in its wake. You smile to yourself, knowing that, had you been there, you probably wouldn't have survived the journey. But on this imaginary trek, you're invincible, free to explore the marvels of a bygone era without consequence. Historians still debate whether Musa's wealth alone was responsible for his legendary status, or whether it was the ideas and knowledge he spread. But one thing remains certain: the sands remembered his passage. They cradle the secrets of the encounters and exchanges that enlivened the desert air. Musa's destination was the city of Cairo, where you now imagine the bustling streets that would have teemed with life. His presence was more significant than just the gold he distributed. With each coin he left behind, he planted the seeds of architecture, education, and culture. The cities he built, long after the gold had melted into the world economy, stood testament to a legacy that was more valuable than mere currency. As you wander the imagined streets, you're greeted by structures that touch the sky and intricate designs that coil across stone with the elegance of a serpent. It's here that Musa's vision took form, where earth met the art that would whisper the genius of ancient master builders through the millennia. He wasn't content with simply adorning the cities with beauty. Musa had a thirst for knowledge and an unyielding desire to share it. He amassed a collection of books, each one a gateway to endless worlds, stories, and truths. These books were more than just parchment and ink. They were repositories of human thought, flowing like rivers of wisdom that would quench the intellectual needs of anyone willing to drink. You pause, letting the timeless wisdom of these books wash over you, allowing your mind to wander down the corridors of thought that were opened centuries ago. Imagine receiving an idea from one of these books and letting it grow branch out like a towering tree that bears fruits of insight and innovation. It's easy to get lost here in this library of wonders and in the intricate designs of the cities he influenced. Historians marvel at how forms of these structures could vary, adopting styles and techniques from various cultures. Perhaps an unusual testament to the travels and exchanges Musa enabled. Some even suggest, though, with a hint of doubt, that one or two scholars changed the entire course of architectural thought because of their journeys alongside him. Yet his influence wasn't confined to architecture and learning alone. His patronage sparked creative bursts. Artists inspired by his vision found themselves transported to realms where imagination soared above commonality, painting vistas of color and life, where narratives spoke across the ages. Every brush stroke whispered a story, each one echoing Musa's dream of a world united not just by trade, but by shared human endeavor and expression. The cities he built stood as beacons, glowing pillars of aspiration that drew travelers and scholars from every corner of the earth. As night creeps in, the hue of twilight casts a serene calm over the ancient cityscape. The stories of Musa's adventures continue to unfold like a gentle breeze that cools the sands bearing his legacy. The stars narrate tales of caravans crossing oceans of sand, leaving trails of golden stories for future dreamers like you to unravel. There's a reassurance in knowing that even amidst the shifting sands, some stories endure. They weave their way into our collective consciousness, leaving behind a tapestry rich with exploration learning and the indomitable spirit of human imagination. You close your eyes, remembering the sights of cities brought to life by masterpieces and memories that are forever etched upon the sands. These memories cradle you like a lullaby from another time, a gentle touch from history that reassures you that stories like Musa's are whispers on the wind, waiting to anchor themselves in willing hearts. Tonight, as the sands settle and stars twinkle in rhythms older than memory, these stories join us in a final, tranquil descent into peaceful slumber. With each breath, let go of the day's tension, rest easy, and dream of a world where wisdom travels as freely as the winds. The shadows lengthen as the sun makes its descent, casting a warm glow over the bustling streets of Timbuktu. You find yourself amidst a symphony of sounds, the gentle sizzle of spices in market stalls, the melodic calls of merchants touting their goods, and the soft rustling of pages turning in the nearby study rooms, where scholars both young and old huddle together. Here in this legendary city, the air is thick with the promise of knowledge and the scent of fresh ink. As you stroll through the winding streets, the grandeur of Timbuktu unfolds around you, revealing its dual identity as a beacon of commerce and learning. Rising majestically beside the vibrant markets are the storied libraries of this city, ancient sanctuaries where wisdom from across the world is lovingly preserved. You pause fascinated at the sight of scribes, hunched over their desks, meticulously copying the Quran by the flickering light of lamps fueled by precious oil. The scribe's concentrated expression offers a poignant reminder of a world where every word penned is a labor of dedication, where literacy and faith intertwine seamlessly. A friendly merchant gestures you closer, offering a taste of their finest salt, an anchor of the trans-Saharan trade which helped to elevate Timbuktu to its eminent status. As you mull it over, an older man beside you mutters about the seemingly impossible journey these salt bars have traveled from the mines of the distant desert to the heart of this city. Some say the caravans took months. He says, eyes glinting with the knowledge of age-old tales. But who really knows how anyone survived such treks? Moving further along your steps, echo within the hallowed halls of the Djinguereber Mosque. Historians marvel at its resilience, standing strong since the 14th century. Yet whispers remain about how exactly it was completed, with some claiming the use of egg whites in the mortar, a legend as likely as the stories of gold melting in the desert heat. You can't help but feel the awe this place commands, both as a religious and scholarly fortress. Through the window, you watch a group of young pupils hunched over their texts, their voices murmuring late into the night as they delve into mathematics, astronomy, and philosophy. Having access to these teachings is a privilege most here don't take for granted. You can almost hear the verses of long-forgotten poems whispered into the dry Sahara wind words, shared amongst those who dared to dream of endless knowledge. Nearby, the renowned Sankore University rises its influence spreading like an intellectual oasis. It is here, amidst animated debates and hushed scholarly whispers, that ideas are cultivated. Students abounding in youthful fervor linger in the courtyard, clinging to every word uttered by their esteemed tutors. The vibrant exchange of thoughts is as colorful as the beautiful fabric draped across the university's walls. You are swept into their world, a witnessing spirit amid a sea of enlightenment seekers. As night approaches, the markets begin to calm, and a softer side of Timbuktu emerges. With the streets now quieter, you hear the gentle swish of a broom as a young apprentice tidies up after another day of learning. His tender touch seems guided by an invisible mentor. As he pauses, perhaps dreaming of future days, you wonder whether he will find his place among the scholars he reverently observes. There lies a curious juxtaposition between the tranquil peace of evening and the frenetic life of daylight. Timbuktu, a jewel standing resilient against time, captivates your imagination, leaving an indelible impression, akin to a tale well told in the golden light of a subdued desert sun. You tread back through the markets, a silent observer in this tapestry of culture and commerce, with the sense that you've experienced something profound. The mysteries and magnificence of Timbuktu wove a narrative so beautifully complex, you question if it was more dream than reality. Still, the stories linger, much like the faint hum of a lullaby, as you drift toward rest. As the sun sets over the vast expanse of sand that stretches seemingly forever, a soft, warm breeze kisses your face. You're in Timbuktu, a city steeped in history, mystery, and whispers of ancient empires. The ochre earth beneath your feet blends seamlessly into the horizon, as if the land itself has stories to tell. And tonight you're about to hear one of its most captivating tales. It's about a mosque, but not just any mosque, a timeless emblem of devotion and architectural brilliance. Crafted from the very earth it rests upon, shaped by a visionary Andalusian architect whose name might well be lost to time, yet whose legacy endures. Building a place of worship from sun-baked mud seems like a venture you probably won't survive in the practical sense, considering thunderstorms and the harsh desert climate. But that's the paradox of this enigma of architecture. It's a structure of fragility that has stood the test of time. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Share where you're tuning in from and what the sky looks like at your end of the world. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. As you imagine yourself wandering the narrow winding streets of ancient Timbuktu, caravans laden with treasures, gold, salt, and ivory might pass by, led by merchants whose faces are veiled against the desert winds. The air is filled with the buzz of trade and the whispers of scholars discussing philosophy, astronomy, and the intricacies of Arabic calligraphy. But amidst this cacophony stands a solemn focal point, the mosque. Erected during the 14th century, this architectural marvel echoes both faith and power. Its walls, made from sun-dried bricks and plastered with a mix of earth and straw, rise like a guardian watching over the city. Historians still debate whether the architectural design was entirely the brainchild of the Andalusian mastermind, or a harmonious fusion of styles as migrants mingled and cultures intertwined. Either way, the mosque stands as a nexus of cultural confluence, embodying the bond between Moroccan dynasties and the scholars of the deserts. Inside, the air cools, and your footsteps soften against the packed earth floor. Shafts of light slice through the narrow windows, casting patterns on the walls, making the mosque feel alive. One unusual detail that might catch your eye is the vibrant design of the mihrab, the niche indicating the direction of Mecca. Richly decorated, it appears at odds with the mosque's humble exterior, much like a book with an unassuming cover but infinitely rich contents. The architect's vision was astonishingly ahead of its time, leaning into the power of simplicity and function. The mosque wasn't just a place to bow heads in prayer. It was a hub of learning, making Timbuktu synonymous with enlightenment during an epoch when Europe was plunged in the depths of the Dark Ages. You would be sitting among scholars who etched wisdom onto parchment with the flick of their quills, producing manuscripts that would one day become relics of a golden age of learning. As your mind wanders through this blend of practicality and mysticism, you may find a peculiar note that the call to prayer to this day echoes much the same way it did centuries ago. But the mystery of its construction outgrows even its historical significance, as the exact techniques used to ensure its endurance remain a subject of speculation. Some say it's the meticulous upkeep by the community, others the genius of the architecture itself. The mosque, like the city, has endured invasions, harsh climates, and the relentless march of time. Yet even as the world changed outside its walls, even as maps were redrawn and cultures evolved, it stood a steadfast witness to the ebbs and flows of history. In its silence, stories thrive. Its mud brick walls absorb the conversations, debates, and whispered prayers of generations. As you bring the night to a close, let the image of this enduring monument remain etched in your thoughts. It reminds you of the beauty found in places where nature and human skill come together, where imagination springs forth from desert sands, crafting something spectacular. Tomorrow comes with the promise of new adventures and more stories waiting to be unveiled. But for now, let the gentle sounds of the desert's night lull you to sleep. In the cool shade of the palace arcades, you find yourself among a crowd of eager scholars, all gathered here from the vast and diverse lands of the Islamic world. The air is filled with the soft murmur of conversation, blending like a gentle stream around you. As you explore the space, intricately carved archways cast delicate patterns of shadow and sunlight upon the ground. You might think about slipping off for a nap somewhere under the nearest date palm, but the debates unfolding before you are too captivating to ignore. An elderly scholar, his beard as long and white as a summer cloud, gestures passionately as he discusses the finer points of law. Nearby, a young astronomer is scribbling constellations in the sand, his eyes scanning the sky as though the secrets of the universe might descend at any moment. It's as if every idea, known to humanity is unraveling here in this very place, and you can't help but be drawn in. You notice a gathering circle where scholars of medicine discuss, with seriousness yet occasional bursts of laughter. They exchange knowledge of strange herbs, and even stranger remedies, some as curious as they are effective, much like the time you learned about how the ancient Egyptians believed in the medicinal properties of garlic. Was it the garlicky scent that chased away the evil spirits? Historians still debate whether or not this particular belief had any basis in reality. Here in the arcades, some debate whether certain practices have more to do with tradition than actual curative power, the signature spark of intellectual discourse. Above you, the weathered mosaic tiles gleam, reflecting stories of a bygone era, seemingly whispering secrets of their own as sunlight dances across their surface. Listening to the arguments around you, whether it's the deep rhythm of legal discussions or the lofty aspirations of stargazers, your mind drifts to how knowledge itself feels like a great unending mosaic. A man dressed in a simple robe, perhaps a visitor like you, shares an anecdote that captures the attention of all, a peculiar tale of a scholar who once calculated the circumference of the earth back in a time when most people believed they might tumble off the edges. The story sounds almost magical, and you can see the sidelong glances shared by those ensnared by the tale, questioning whether it's a story embroidered with fiction or a master stroke of truth. The tale isn't new to you. It's a callback to that amazement you felt when first hearing about how ancient scholars mastered the complexities of Earth's measurements without satellite aid, igniting debates about whether their precision was sheer genius or something else entirely. While you listen, the gentle rustle of the wind through the trees mixes with the murmurs of debate, creating a lullaby-like quality that's as soothing as it is intellectually engaging. You notice a group of translators working diligently in a corner, rendering texts from old languages into new ones, their whispers soft like a secret passed from one generation to the next. This is a labor of love and necessity, just like the time you tried to unravel the mysteries of a faraway script, realizing how critical communication is in bridging worlds. The importance of their work is undeniable, as it allows knowledge to flow freely from one culture to another. The scent of spices drifts through the air, exotic and familiar all at once. Perhaps this is what draws people here from such great distances, a chance to exchange ideas, taste new flavors, and uncover mysteries together under these gracious arcades. A scholar beside you makes an offhand comment about the significance of sharing knowledge at communal meals, and how some of the most profound ideas have come over a simple dish of lentils. His remark seems surprising, until you remember those times when the best conversations and innovations often spring from the humblest settings. As the afternoon sun dips lower, casting long shadows across the courtyard, the space transforms into a sea of golden hues. You find it nearly impossible to resist the urge to find a comfortable place to sit, leaning against one of the stately columns, noticing as the debates turn softer, mirroring the fading light. Soon the voices become calm whispers, shared among friends rather than rival scholars. a gentle reminder that behind every intellectual pursuit is the human desire to connect, to understand, and to share warmth. The magic of this place becomes clear. It's not merely the mosaic of knowledge, but the threads of relationship woven through every conversation, much like an intricate tapestry. It almost feels like witnessing history being made, even though there will be no fanfare, no grand gestures, just the quiet turning of pages and the occasional spark of laughter. As day turns to dusk, you reflect on how, amid the scholarly debates and grand ideas, what you truly sense is a kind of homecoming. The pace of life slows to the rhythm of the evening. The scholarly fervor melts into a serene calm, and you too feel yourself lulled by the lullaby of knowledge and camaraderie. With the stars beginning to peek through the deepening twilight, you chase away the echoes of the day's discussions, letting them blend into the whispers of the night. It's as if every star above marks another question unanswered, another journey begun. The warmth of the day gives way to the cool of night, and the arcades are now wrapped in the embrace of evening. Feeling the subtle shift in the air, you allow yourself to sink into the moment, breathing in the quiet anticipation of tomorrow's dawn and the new stories it will surely bring. As your eyes close, the scholarly debates blur into the melody of the night hopes and dreams, weaving seamlessly with ancient knowledge, gently carrying you toward the soft embrace of sleep. On those magnificent Catalan maps of old, you find yourself tracing the routes that span continents, and your eyes linger on an unusual sight. There in the heart of Africa is Mansa Musa, the fabled Malian ruler, holding a lavish golden orb. The cartographers of Europe, even without meeting him, were captivated by his immensity and wealth. This singular image, frozen in time on vellum, fires up your imagination and pulls you into a night long past. Your surroundings subtly shift, and your room is joined by the faint rustle of distant winds, carrying stories from lands far away. Historians marvel at how, despite the European cartographers' awe, many had never seen Mansa Musa in the flesh. Instead, they pieced together tales of his wealth from whispers and exaggerated tales of travelers who spoke of gold dust scattered like sand in his vast empire. The air thrums with a quiet energy, almost an echo of the mosques and universities he funded, where scholarly debates would stretch long into the night. There is a striking sense of wonder in this journey to the past. Yet academics still debate whether Mansa Musa's opulence as depicted was entirely accurate or slightly inflated by the tides of European imagination. They squabble over details like this, just as they untangle the stories of the legendary Hajj, that Mansa Musa embarked upon a pilgrimage so grand it left Cairo's economy rattled with the sheer quantity of gold he spent. As you continue your dreamy exploration, you see through the eyes of the European cartographers who sketched these maps, their jaws dropping as travelers regaled them with stories of Mansa Musa's journey. Each tale seemed wilder than the last painting, a portrait of a king with riches beyond measure gold, so plentiful it scarcely compared to anything the storytellers had ever witnessed before. In imagining yourself as one of these scribes, there's a casual sarcasm about the disparity between story and reality. Anecdotes too grand to believe entirely, yet too enticing to dismiss outright. Here is a man whose wealth reverberated through the annals of time, and even now the precise details play on the edges of historical certainty. This night, the threads of history weave a tapestry illuminated by the soft glow of candlelight. The golden orb in Mansa Musa's grasp isn't just a symbol of untold wealth, but a beacon of curiosity that draws the mapmakers' imaginations as they pore over their parchments. Your mind dances with the shimmering possibility of untapped legends hidden within the whirlwind of numbers and names that chart these ancient scrolls. With each shift in perspective, you're reminded that history is a living, breathing entity, full of surprises, just like when you learned about those Europeans who believed that elephants were creatures spawned from legends, only to be corrected by explorers returning from their journeys. As you delve deeper into this story's comforting embrace, the rhythm of history matches the gentle cadence of your thoughts, swaying back and forth with the ease of a lullaby wrapped in the pages of the past. Each detail from Mansa Musa's supposed golden extravagance to the persistent academic hand-wringing over facts and fictions rocks you gently towards sleep as the narrative of our shared human experience unfolds. And so with each retelling, you see how the maps became more than parchment and ink. They were showcases of the grand tapestry of human curiosity and storytelling. Mansa Musa's image, resplendent with that golden orb, persists as both history and myth, a testament to a world ever on the brink of discovery. The maps were colorful palimpsests of ideas and misconceptions, further enriched by a king whose reputation transcended continents. As you close your eyes to the imagined flickers of candlelight and the far-off music of bustling ancient markets, the story unfurls its final layers. You feel soothed with the knowledge that somewhere these tales live on, whispering their secrets into the corners of forgotten libraries and the minds of sleepy dreamers like you. And so, as the whispers of time carried him along like a gentle breeze, Mansa Musa slipped away from the world as quietly as he had ruled it. It seemed only fitting that a leader known for his grace and profound wisdom would depart in such a serene manner, leaving behind a legacy that would endure beyond the sands of time. Mansa Musa's reign, like a soft lullaby to his people, gently faded into legend, his last days peaceful and serene. In his wake were the grand mosques he had commissioned standing tall and proud, each brick a testament to his devotion. Timbuktu, under his guidance, had transformed into a center of learning so renowned that scholars from distant lands would travel months through unforgiving deserts just to share in the wealth of knowledge it housed. You can almost see them, can't you, bent over manuscripts by candlelight, the air thick with the smell of parchment and ink, translating ancient words that would echo through the ages. One fascinating tidbit, one that seems almost too fanciful to believe, is a tale of a mosque in Timbuktu, crafted from a rare stone that sparkled under the desert sun. Legend has it that this stone was touched by Mansa Musa himself during his pilgrimage, infusing it with a mysterious luster. Whether that glimmer was truly the work of a king's touch, or simply a trick of the light, historians still debate. But in a way, isn't it more enchanting not to know for sure? Mansa Musa's wealth was the stuff of legends, of course. By now you've gotten quite familiar with the tales of his gold-laden pilgrimage to Mecca that sent ripples through economies far and wide. But what you might find surprising is how little he thought of it all. To him, wealth was a tool, a means to uplift his people, and religion not an end in itself. His true treasures were the scholars he brought to Mali, creating an intellectual bloom that would outlast any gilded coin. And then there are the myths. Oh, the myths. Did he really send a fleet across the Atlantic, a bold attempt to explore lands unknown? It's a story that dances on the edges of what's possible. And while historians argue over the details, just the idea of such daring exploration sparks wonder. Imagine mighty ships cresting the waves, their sails filled with promises of discovery. Whether they reached a new world or simply sailed into the horizon, the audacity of it speaks volumes of the man's vision. As the years unfurled, so did the stories of Mansa Musa. They whispered through the bustling markets of Mali, they crossed borders, and they even found their way into the grand courts of Europe. In these tales, Mansa Musa's image loomed larger than life, a testament to his enduring charisma and the enduring power of story. And now, as the night deepens, and the comforts of your bed whisper your name, let your thoughts drift, like the sands of Mali carried gently forward by the stories and the legacy Mansa Musa left behind. As the soft embrace of sleep begins to take hold, remember the power of knowledge, the beauty of myths, and the quiet strength of a ruler whose heart beat in harmony with his people. Let the tale of Mansa Musa be like a soft lullaby, one that promises rest, and dreams of distant lands filled with ancient wisdom and new wonders. Allow your mind to settle like the desert panorama under the vast star-speckled sky. Let the embers of the fire you sit by gently fade, cooling like the warmth of the day, parting into a cool embrace where mysteries of history softly whisper their secrets. The sands of time are both gentle and relentless, much like the passage of night into morning. May your dreams be filled with the shimmering images of gold dust, the rustling pages of manuscripts, and the soft echoes of stories yet untold. As you sink deeper into the quiet sanctuary of sleep, remember that every ending is but a new beginning, with each rest bringing the promise of discovery and understanding anew. With the gentle hum of time lulling you to slumber, bathed in the faint glow of ancient moons and lost stars, may your night be as peaceful as King Musa's passing. Rest easy, cradled by history and myth, as you dream on the wings of stories whispering in the soft language of dreams. As you trace the winding paths through a world that seems almost hidden in twilight, your heart beats in rhythm with the pulse of ancient times. The air hums with tales untold, and as you stroll through the familiar yet mysterious lands of Mali, these stories are etched into every pebble underfoot. Once upon a time, a great empire thrived here, a kingdom built by a ruler whose name echoed beyond the Sahara itself. Mansa Musa, the Sultan of Mali, whose wealth and power dazzled the old world. You find yourself drawn to the legacy he left behind, monuments and memories, whispers of gold that shimmer just out of reach. It's whispered that his successors, although not as grand, carry on the memory of his reign in the heart of the land. You pause to wonder, did Mansa Musa's follower, Mansa Maghan, feel the immense weight of expectation on his young shoulders? Historians still debate whether he ever truly wanted the crown, or if it was forced upon him by the currents of fate. Alas, the young Mansa Maghan struggled to juggle the immense burden of his inheritance, as Mali's vastness required more assurance than his tentative hands could offer. You walk through time-battered cities where the stones murmur stories of glory and turmoil. They speak of Mansa Maghan's choice to continue building Djinguereber, the mosque in Timbuktu, that toweringly reaches up to the heavens. This act of piety served as a reminder of the spiritual wealth the empire still possessed. Or so it was hoped. Medieval scholars occasionally scratch their heads at how, amidst the grandeur, it was often the small unlauded moments that carried the greatest significance, yet the grand structure stands nonetheless a testament to the perseverance of Mali's enduring spirit. Pondering the hills that cradle the secrets of ages, long past your thoughts, drift to the hidden treasures that reportedly lie within. Some historians murmur tales of gold veins and forgotten mines, claiming the wealth Mansa Musa flaunted on his pilgrimage to Mecca was but a taste of what remained buried. The idea of concealed riches hiding behind each undulation of the Malian terrain is as enticing as it is elusive. You feel the weight of the past, not as an oppressive burden, but as a comforting blanket that shields you from the chill of present uncertainties. It's an age-old dance of humanity, pushing forward while holding on to what grounds you. Mali's story doesn't end with Mansa Musa. It continues beyond in every sunrise that bathes the land in golden light. The silence around you is profound but not unsettling. Instead, it wraps around you like the patient watch of ancient eyes, encouraging you to step further into a realm where history and legend intertwine. It's said that in the still of the night, if you listen closely, you might hear the whispered stories of the gold traders, each tale richer than the last. The night moves on continuous, unwavering threading the past with the present seamlessly. As your thoughts drift, images form of life far removed from the corridors of power. Scenes of bustling markets filled with vibrant dyes, textiles, and the sharp tang of spices carried on a breeze find you. It's easy to picture merchants negotiating laughter, mingling with the calls of hawkers. The pulse of Mali, sometimes overlooked in tales of kings and conquests, lies in these bustling streets. Back in the cool interior of your imagination, you visualize the undulating hills soft beneath the covering of night. Hidden mysteries linger here, not just in the form of gold, but in the folds of history itself. You continue to walk without a distinct destination. The journey, after all, holds more fascination than the end point. You picture the ordinary people, those often left out of grand historical narratives, who bore witness to Mali's evolution and whispered stories beneath the open, star-filled sky. The stars seem to echo with voices from the past recounting both mundane and marvelous tales. As you wander through the folds of memory and possibility, a gentle realization settles over you. This journey through the tapestry of Mali isn't just about unveiling the past, but embracing the stories yet to be told. Each step you take here serves to forge new paths, even as it honors the footsteps of those who came before. As your eyes grow heavy with the warmth of the tale, you find reassurance in the enduring whispers of Mali. They speak of legacies that persist beyond stone and sand, hinting that sometimes the most important traces left behind are those which teach us about resilience, imagination, and the simple beauty of walking through history's never-ending story. Quietly, the night lulls you further into rest as shadows fade into dreams, guided by the delicate, soothing hand of eternity. You close your eyes. The gentle rustle of camel hooves in the sand becomes your only tether to consciousness. Nearby, you hear a soft flute, its melody drifting through the dunes as if played by the wind itself. Your mind begins to wander. In the starry sky above you, imagine Mansa Musa, the magnificent emperor of the Mali Empire, embarking on his timeless journey. His presence is as serene and eternal as the cosmic light that fills the night. You picture yourself lying on a warm desert blanket, the sand beneath shaped by centuries of wind and sun. It's a paradox, really. The vast Sahara seems both endless and intimate, much like the tales of Mansa Musa. You recall the stories of his legendary pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324, a trek that not only defined his reign, but also reshaped the economies of every market he touched. As if traveling with the most extravagant caravan the world had ever seen, you sense the weight of the gold he distributed generously along the way. Historians agree, albeit with some raised eyebrows, that he may have single-handedly caused an inflation ripple simply by his acts of generosity. But tonight the stories begin quieter. Instead of gold, you think of the enduring legacy of a ruler who left an imprint more valuable than treasures. Historians still debate the extent of his riches, but they all concur about the impact of his patronage, elevating Mali's stature in global consciousness. Outside the circle of your imagination, the desert cloaks itself in chilly tranquility. The camels' silhouettes against the moonlight shift their weight, perhaps dreaming of their next destination. Your journey, however, takes a different path. You are weightless, gliding over sand, and time tracing Mansa Musa's route to the ancient city of Timbuktu. Ah, Timbuktu, the name itself is a whisper from antiquity, a place where whispers of knowledge reigned supreme. Can you see the city in the distance? Timbuktu is more than just a legend of lost civilization. It is a beacon of knowledge, a library of minds where scholars gathered to exchange ideas. Historians believe its universities held thousands of manuscripts on diverse subjects: astronomy, poetry, law, each fragile page an intricate thread in the tapestry of human understanding. The wind picks up, stirring the sands around you. It carries with it stories not entirely different from those scrolls in Timbuktu stories of mathematicians and poets who walked its streets. You think about the golden manuscripts guarded yet fading like breaths in the vast lungs of the world. Now the flute's melody entwines with your thoughts once more. What you hear in those notes is the essence of exploration, the harmony of discovery. Perhaps it's reminiscent of the trade routes that crisscrossed the Sahara, where caravans echoed the desert's heartbeat, where the exchanged goods were not just of spice and silk, but of culture and connection. The night deepens, and as the stars sparkle and sway, your journey turns inward again. You ponder Mansa Musa's return from Mecca, no longer just an emperor, but a sage carrying new perspectives. History tells us he brought architects and scholars back to Mali, ushering an era of architectural brilliance and intellectual revival. The intricate mosques of Djinguereber still stand as testament to this golden era, their designs whispered into existence by the sand-worn hands of artisans long gone. You feel the story settling like sand around you, grounding and comforting, yet full of movement and discovery. Perhaps this voyage through distant lands and times isn't about reaching a destination, but about savoring the journey itself. It's about finding solace in knowing that even in our ever-changing world, stories like Mansa Musa's remain steady beacons. As the night treads softly onward, you feel your thoughts becoming lighter, like grains of sand lifted into the wind's embrace. The music fades, or perhaps it blends so seamlessly into your dreams that you can no longer discern one from the other. The camels, the stars, the silent footsteps of Mansa Musa. They're all there guiding you gently to the edge of sleep. The stars twinkle their quiet secrets. Mansa Musa walks majestically through the galaxies, golden and eternal, and you wrapped in the calm, cozy embrace of his tale, find yourself slowly drifting away on the gentle currents of the night.